What's going on, everybody? I'm back again with another video, and I'm out here in Taipei, Taiwan. It's my first time in Taiwan. You guys probably missed my video. I arrived last night. I took the train from the airport over here, but now I'm just gonna explore around the area that I'm staying and see what's happening. A really different vibe, you know, from last night. But I know it's gonna be pretty nice weather. It says it's really hot, but it doesn't feel that bad. It's not humid, but I'm excited to walk around here, and I'm gonna take you guys on a journey with me right here in this beautiful place called Taiwan. So without further ado, join me. So right now, this area that I'm staying, I'm gonna walk around a little bit. It's called Datong District. You know, it's a pretty chill area. It has like a mixture of modern buildings with old buildings, you know, and the streets are pretty nice and impeccable. I like how you can share literally like the bike lanes and walkable areas, but yeah, we're gonna walk around here to see what else is going on. And this is what it looks like, you know. It's not too busy, but I'm pretty sure they have other districts and other areas in Taipei that are busy and more crowded. There's also like alleyways between the sidewalks that you can walk around, like this one over here ahead of me. Then they got the bus, the trains, you know. You can easily get out through all the entire city using the train and the metro system or the bus. You can literally get an easy card and refill it with money and tap in. I also heard that you can use the easy card to pay at convenience stores, so you know it's pretty easy. Here's like a little alleyway. I know last night, let me see. You can literally shortcut and head towards another side of the street. But yeah, like I say, it's super chill over here. But it's gonna be like a nice historic district. This is what I'm talking about, the bike lanes. You could walk here, but I think they separate this area more for the bikes, and then over here you could walk and shelter from the weather. But so far now I'm feeling good, like the weather is not too bad. Doing a little shortcut to see what does the alleyways look like over here. It's mostly motorbikes and shops out here, so I'm just trying to show you guys. This is what it looks like, you know. But pretty quiet, you know, it's not too busy out here today. Also in this area is one of the oldest streets, it's actually the oldest street in Taipei, the Dihua Street, which we're gonna make it over there later. I think they also turn it into a night market in the nighttime. These are some of the modern buses out here. It's pretty nice and dope. I walked here last night, because that's where the night market was that I was filming last night. But I'm gonna shortcut into some of the streets over here. Then we got a local plaza, so pretty modern streets, you know, and then, like I say, it's a mixture of old architecture with modern architecture out here. So I think this area that I'm walking, I'm staying, is actually probably like the older part of Taipei, you know. Taipei is a pretty massive city, and they also have like the modern area where a lot of people go, where Taipei 101 building is. So I'm gonna make it there probably tomorrow or the next day, you know, but I'm just focusing in the surrounding areas, you know. So I'm trying to find like some vibrancy over here, but so far, you know, a pretty nice clean city. And over here they separate the sidewalk, pedestrian and bike area. And here you can shortcut for some of the alleyways. Some of the things I like about traveling, you know, in Asian countries, that they got alleyways like this, and every single street is walkable. Like I say, this is a really quiet area. Like you don't really see much people. Wow, this is a bus, and I literally saw, wow, they're female bus drivers. That's pretty interesting. I guess things were pretty different out here. Wish I had my bike with me. It looks like it's a pretty fun city to bike, you know. People are pretty respectful, you know, they respect the rules. No litter over here. You know, one funny thing is I rarely see any trash can, but even with that, you can see how clean the sidewalks are, so pretty nice. See how they have, you know, the Taiwanese flag in the middle of the street. There should be like a local park here that I want to detour. This is like a busy intersection. You see the motorbikes, and look how wide the sidewalks are. There's a local park over that way. And there's some of the urbanists in Taipei. Then one block ahead of me should be the metro station. This is genius what they do. Like they, you know, set up like an area with the ceiling so you don't have to walk in the sun. Because I guess, you know, during the hot season it's pretty blazing out here. So I'm walking over here instead of walking in the other side of the sidewalk where you're literally walking by the sun area. So we're here, you know, it looks cool, but then I want to show you like the street level. Just got to be careful with the bikes. So you can see how modern the city is. And it's like every street here is walkable in Taipei. See? Mostly modern complex, modern buildings. here's the metro station, the red line. The red and the green line. You can cross the street too. Like I said, the metro gets you pretty much everywhere you gotta go in Taipei. So, you know, they got tons of underground cities and everything, giving you a 360 view. So this area is a little bit more busier. So I'm just shortcutting over here. Underneath of me is where the red line metro passes by, but they have like a little pedestrian area for you to walk in some regular nice neighborhoods out here that I want to show you. You can see the nice buildings, the nice architecture, you know. Like I say, it's super, super chill. Organized, you know, and people, they just go on about their daily lives, you know. Nobody bothers nobody as long as you respect the people and the locals over here, you know. You're gonna have a good time. This is amazing, you know, I like it out here. Happy that I came to Taiwan. Now I'm just walking around this little street to check out a little local park that we got over here just to see how other parks, but there's tons of local parks throughout Taipei according to the maps, but you can see what the little street looks like. It looks really cool, see? I like the buildings, how they have the balcony, the grass and everything. And the park should be there ahead of me. I'm just surprised to see how quiet it is, you know. Still getting familiar, like if there's any certain type of days where it gets busy. But I guess it depends the district where we stay. I guess if I go to another district, it's gonna be busier. I think this is more like a local area in Taipei. But yeah. And then here's the local park. And then this is what the park looks like, you know. Nothing crazy. They got a basketball court on the other side. That's really cool. I'm gonna walk towards the other side and make it towards the old street, Dihua Street, you know, and I think it's pretty vibrant. They got like old architecture. They set up like a night market, so I'm gonna walk over there. I think it's gonna take me probably like 10, 15 minutes to make it towards that side. Right here, I gotta cross the intersection, but you know, like I said, everywhere is pretty safe, pretty walkable, so I don't mind doing it. So a huge trick that people do out here is, especially when they're waiting to cross into the light, they stand under the ceilings of the buildings, you know, to wait for the shade. I think that's a good way to deal with when the weather's pretty hot, you know. Right now, check the temperature is 106 degrees, which is like 40, 41 Celsius. I mean, it doesn't feel like really that humid, but I guess maybe if I walk a little bit more, then I start feeling it, you know. Pretty strange, and I guess this season over here is super hot in Taiwan. But yeah, let's keep walking towards the old street and see what are the vibes over that area. Then this side will take you straight towards the other side I'm trying to go. Now that I'm thinking about it, I grew up in a tropical country in the Caribbean, but they don't have the signs like this, like buildings that will literally shelter you from the sun, because where I grew up, you know, the heat can really hit you pretty hard. Like it gets 41, 42, but super humid. So like they want people to walk, they just do this sign, you know, places like this, where you can just walk under the sun and shelter up. So I think this is a little trick for you to do, you know, if you want to be outside for a long time during rough weathers. So the buildings, they have details in each and every single one of them, like the architecture. You know, it's pretty awesome, and I like the, you know, the signs of the language. Here in Taipei, they speak Mandarin, and they speak also their own dialect or language, which is Taiwanese. You can see some developments behind me. Building some tall buildings in the corner, so you know the city keeps on progressing. And I feel like a lot of cities back home in the States, they should take samples of, you know, Asian cities. Like they really plan it for the people. Even though if it's busy or densely populated, you know, they manage to design an area for you to bike comfortable and for you to walk and drive, you know, and it makes it pretty safe. So that's something that really lacks back home in the West. Then the block ahead of me should be the oldest street in Taipei. So I'm already starting to see the beautiful old architecture. So we're gonna have a blast exploring the street. Like I say, I'm taking it one day at a time, you know, for those to be like, hey, you should go this way or this way. You know, keep in mind I'm gonna be here for a couple of next days, so then I'll figure what other districts or what other city in Taiwan to explore. But little by little, I'm taking it in. Like I say, here's touristy because I'm starting to see foreigners out here too, so. But let's see what the street has to offer me. Look at this beautiful architecture, it looks pretty nice. Reminds me a little bit of Penang in Malaysia. My Taiwanese viewers who are viewing this, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. I'm not sure if it's a Dihua Street. You know, forgive me, you know, I'm still learning. And if you're new to the channel, just welcome, you know. My name is Manny and I explore around different cities around wherever I go in Asia and stuff. And now I'm really excited to be in your country in Taiwan. So welcome to the channel. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Over here's where it starts. Maybe I'm lacking t-shirts. Maybe I can buy some t-shirts either here or any mall around Taipei, you know. So what do we got going on here? Coffee? Oh, this is dope. I also want to try the Boba tea here in Taipei. I know it's going to be exciting. Then here's where it starts getting nice. See the beautiful streets. Even here you could detour in some of the regular streets. Let's do that. And I think in the nighttime it comes out to life over here. So really nice looking street. People taking their Instagram pictures. Let me just wait for them so I don't photobomb them, and then I'll see what's happening ahead. Then look how nice the street is. Super chill, you know. But I like it how they got the nature with the concrete. For the block ahead of me, I think it gets nicer, like a block or two. So there's still like a lot of goods and products over here, you know. I guess this is a really touristy part of Taipei. Like I say, it's the oldest street in Taipei, and then they have a lot of cool stuff. Oh, there's a restaurant over here. Let me see what they got. Not that I'm gonna eat now. It's still early, like 11 o'clock, but let me show you like the outside. Like over here, it looks like a mixture of street food. Oh, they're selling noodles. One thing I want to try here is like the beef noodles. I heard it's like a signature dish in Taiwan, and I heard it's pretty good. So yeah, maybe they sell them around here. Or eventually in many other districts, but let's keep walking this beautiful street out here that Taiwan has to offer us. Then here they got like a pedestrian area for you to sit down. Like I say, I think during the sunset or in the evening, it gets actually nice over here. More people come out because they lit up like the streets. Even the little tiny alleys or tiny streets are pretty worth it to look at too. And over here it gets dark pretty early during this season. It gets dark like around 5:34, I think it's the sunset. So yeah. So I wonder when is the season that the sunset lasts like a little bit longer, you know. So they got, you know, a little bit of everything, but then ahead of me is where it gets nicer because the street gets tighter. And then they got like a lot of signs. So here we got a temple, but there's tons of temples throughout Taipei. So I'm gonna explore some of them eventually. Even though I'm not a Buddhist, this is just relaxful for me to be, you know. See the people doing their prayers, you know. But you know, here's where it gets pretty interesting, the street. So now let's see what this street has to offer me. And then even in a tiny street like this, they got areas where you can walk and shelter up from the heat. So that way you don't burn with the sun, you know. While over here in Asia, it's pretty common, the folding bikes. You don't see it pretty much in New York. Kind of see them, but over here it's pretty common to use it. So then here, you know, sell antiques, and sweets, candy, stuff like that, you know. So I don't think it's really like much of a clothes market. It's just more like a coffee joint street and a couple of restaurants here and there, you know. But pretty nice looking, and then nice building with a Taiwanese flag. So I'm gonna take a shelter from the sun and walk in the area that protects me from the sun, you know, and see. I'll probably get like a better action of what's going on here. So here you see, it's pretty much what you can find here where they're selling. Oh, they got a store here with a lot of people. Get souvenirs. Now that I remember, I can buy a keychain for my fiance. She really loves collecting keychains from every country that we visit, so it's good to know. I just remember that right now. Here they got like a little street food. In this area, in the middle of the street, they have cobblestones, but still you see like the motorbikes out here. I'm gonna stand a little bit on the street to show you, and then I'm gonna go inside to shelter up from the heat. These is mostly cobblestones, but then the street is beautiful with a beautiful architecture that makes it pretty nice and pretty unique out here. So. See behind me, the cool street over here. I wonder what's happening over this way. I'll probably do like a vlog and then merge back, and I'm gonna walk towards the train station area that I was filming last night to see how it looks like in the daytime. It's probably busy, and get a little familiar with the train station, because I was literally just lost trying to get to my accommodation and vlog at the same time. But now, you know, I can take my time to study the area a little bit and get familiar. And then there's like an underground mall that I want to check out and see what's going on and what do they sell over there. So let's do that. Hopefully they got some air conditioning so I can shelter from the heat, you know. Here they got a little tiny local park. Not too busy now, but let me just, is this like where you could take the subway? No, that's for a restroom over here. This is actually nice, just showing you what's around here. It's like a semi-parking plaza, but really cool. And I'm just gonna walk towards Taiwan main station. That's a train that connects you, you know. You could take the highway and you could take the train that would take you straight to the airport in Taipei. So now I'm just gonna walk straight down and walk towards Taipei City Mall, which is underground, and the train station, and you know, wander around there. The good thing is they have like an underground city that connects you through multiple MRT lines and a couple of blocks without having to go above ground and deal with the weather. Or easy way for you to shortcut. But I gotta tell you, it's a pretty genius idea what they did here in designing these buildings like this that could really make you pretty pleasant to walk around despite the heat that's happening over here. Within a block ahead of me should be the train station. And a little different vibe, you know, when I came here, a lot of establishments were closed, but today they're actually open. So a little bit busier here. There's like a little bit more traffic jam happening. A couple of clothing stores out here. So, like I say, the one thing I like is they sell some pretty interesting shirts in Asian countries. So if I see anything I like, then maybe I'll buy it, you know, also like a souvenir from the country that I visit. And here we go. Seems like they're developing the area near the train station with a lot of high-rise buildings. And the street should be nice. They got the bluish color. Also keep an eye, they got the crossing pedestrian area, so you know, follow the rules over here. Oh, this is a nice street. Let me check this out. Well, I like how they decorate the street over here. I tell you, Taipei is full of surprises. Like, you don't even need a plan. You just walk around, you find pretty interesting things going on over here. But yeah, nice looking street. I actually spotted it last night, but it wasn't really lit up, you know. Like I said, I was trying to rush to the hotel and check in because I was tired and I wanted some food, as you guys saw in my previous video. But yeah, this is a nice looking street out here. Let's head back towards the other side to see what are the vibes over there. Study and check out the train station. You know, I'm a huge fan of train stations or trains. I've been fascinated by that since I was a kid. And it's an honor for me to be in these countries over here in Asia where they are like the masterminds in terms of public transportation, like trains and all of that. So, you know, here's where the blue and the purple line train passes by. I think, well, it probably goes underground. But the main train station's over there, but I don't think you can cross. So you have to go underground. Let me just take a little peek. But I'm gonna go over here because this is where the Taipei City Mall is. It's underground. But let me just show you a little bit of the street action happening right here. You see people in the motorbikes, the cars and everything. There's a modern complex of buildings that they built. I think if I go in the other side of the station, there's some modern buildings. Now let's go inside the mall to see what can I find. What is this? A food joint? All right, that's nice. I like the sidewalk too. Here it says clearly Taipei City Mall. Then you go underground, you connect to the MRT, you connect to the train station. So let's see what's going on. Hopefully they got an air conditioning in here so I can shelter up from the heat. Yes, cool air conditioning. But yeah, wow, this is pretty massive, man. So like I say, some establishments are open, other establishments are not. So it's like a mixture of things, but the good thing is I'm sheltering from the weather. So I'm just studying out here to see what's going on. There's a little portion of it. Like I say, nothing crazy. I'm pretty sure they got tons of other malls out here in Taipei. But just giving you an insight of what's going on. I think also like the main thing about this is for you to connect throughout different blocks around this area over here without having to go in the street level. Got a lot of arcade joints, some restaurants, food joints out here. But it's not really that busy, so we make it towards the other side, bordering the train station. I think over that area, there's a little bit more action happening. So yeah, it's gotta go this way. As you see behind me, it's just the same scenery. Not too crowded, honestly. I thought it was gonna be more people, but not. Here's like part of the station. Here I get a better view, you know, and I'm trying to get familiar. It's pretty big, and like, you know, you get a little bit confused and like you don't know where to go. Like I'm literally just following the signs. Trying to study because, you know, I got to take the train back to the airport when I head back outside of Taipei. But I think the trick is that you just follow the signs where the purple MRT line is, and where it says Taipei MRT line, that's where you gotta go. It's a pretty massive train station, and then I think that's where you take the MRT underground. But it's a lot of connectors here. Then you could walk and take the green line also, if I'm not mistaken. And they got some restrooms over here. Let me see. Yeah, the green line, you could take it literally right here. So that's good to know. So this is kind of giving me Penn Station vibes, like confusing at first, like you don't know where to go. But I guess once you do it more often, you're more familiar with it, you know. But yeah, I'm just following the signs. I'm just figuring out, but I already find out where I gotta take the train back to the airport, which is behind me. But then ahead of me is Taipei main station. So I guess it's like a few stations all connected together, you know. But a pretty cool concept that they have going on over here where you could take it, you know, you can walk underneath, but I wanna see what's looking like in the other side to see what are the vibes over there. And over here you see it keeps going. Just over here it changes a little bit, but you just follow the signs and have an idea where you wanna go. So now it kind of makes sense. There's actually more people underground than street level, I guess, because of the heat, you know, so that's how people move around there. I saw a really cool store there that sells clothing and shoes. Later trying to study the area, I think the best option for me to do is walk outside. There's an overpass here that lets me cross the street and then enter the main station, which is right here. And if you go inside, it's literally like a mixture of a mall combined with train station, so I think that's probably the easiest process for me. Then you can wander around. They got a lot of food options out here too, and like fast food chains, you know, so, you know, pretty good idea, pretty good concept that they got going on right here. Here's Taipei main, facing north, so I guess it's divided into multiple layers of buildings, but then when you go in, you're gonna get this, so I'm gonna take a little peek. And they have pretty good air conditioning right here, so yeah, wow, it's a really massive train station. So here you can buy your tickets, take the trains to your destination, you know, and this is what you get. So there's no sitting, people can sit on the floor, but I guess over here it's allowed. Comparing to the States, they really don't allow it, you know, or especially in New York City, so I guess. You see people bring their luggage and everything, they're pretty massive. You can buy your tickets over there towards the destination. You just gotta know which train you gotta take and which line you're taking and where you're going. So it could be a little bit confusing, but I guess you get a little hang of it, and I guess people here, they're willing to help, you know. I could be wrong, but I think this is the area over here. You can buy the tickets and take the high-speed rail. But you can book it online too. So I think, I want to take a look at the ticket vending machine to see what we're working with right here. So let me see, I think this is the high-speed rail. Touch the screen to purchase, choose English. Let me see, ticket. Let me pretend like I'm going somewhere. Non-reserved trains. Let me just select a destination. I don't know, they got this page. These are all the cities. So they got the city in southern. Okay, just having an idea what's going on. But yeah, at least you can choose the English selection and figure out where you gotta go. So actually I was wrong. The high-speed rail is down here. You just gotta follow the sign that says HSR, which means high-speed rail, and you'll find it. A lot of people getting ready to take it. Like over here, you see? To high-speed rail, B1, you go over here, you buy your tickets online, you can tap in. I think you could use also the Easy card, as long as you got money filling it, you know, you can refill it. You got a waiting station over there, and then you just, pretty easy, you know, you do the tapping system. Tap your card, and then you just get in, so that's pretty nice. Cool. And then you figure out where you gotta go. They even got a family mart. You can get some refreshments, a little snacks on your way. But yeah, it's good to know. That was a little tiny tour around the train station. I was getting cloudy over this side. Hopefully it doesn't rain, but I heard the weather here in Taiwan is crazy. Like it could be nice and sunny, and then out of nowhere it just pours really hard. We get typhoons over here, you know. Oh, they got buses here where you can sightsee. That's cool. But I think I'm gonna walk a couple of blocks around here, because there should be like a local park ahead of me. I just gotta figure out how do I cross the street. And then I'm gonna save and I'm gonna head out later to one of the busiest districts out in Taipei, where they got a nice nightlife, you know, a lot of neon lights, pedestrian streets and areas for people to walk around. But now I gotta figure how do I make it towards the other side of the street. So yeah, so there should be an underpass that takes me towards the other side. So yeah, so far I've been exploring the busiest area out here in Taipei. is literally like near the train station area. Okay, this is like the main hub where you do all the connections throughout the country out here. So it takes you all over. We got a busy traffic jam going on. Like all the taxis. Also Uber works out here in Taipei. Nice looking building with neon lights. This massive building kind of reminds me a bit of Orchard Street in Singapore. And then they got like the plaza over here by the train station. So here I can literally cross the street. So I'm gonna walk towards where the park is. So here's a little bit more action. And at the end I see a big building, which I think is a Taiwan National Museum. And they got this, and you could go underground where they got the city. Yeah, here you see that action that's going on. I think in the nighttime, they probably lit up all these buildings with the neon lights. Even got a McDonald's right there. Like if you're a little bit tired of eating local food and you're craving to cheat a little bit on fast food, then they have a McDonald's right here. I have a feeling that it's gonna pour rain out here with the clouds. It's getting windy though, so I'm probably gonna have to shelter somewhere here. But yeah, it seems like there's more action over here. See a lot of more people walking over this way. I see the streets and lights, so yeah, that's good to know. But let me walk towards in front of the museum. That's where they got a huge, massive local park. And then I'm just gonna turn back and film later in the evening when it gets dark at the nighttime to see a little bit of the vibrant nightlife in Taipei. I think this is like the mall, the shopping district right here. So yeah, here's where you see a little bit of more action. So I guess it all depends what part of Taipei you go, see? Even the little streets look pretty dope. So I might be shortcutting later throughout the streets. So like I said, I think the part that I'm staying in Taipei is actually like an older part. And that's why you don't see like much action going on. But you know, like it's a massive city that could take you forever to explore. So you just gotta know where to go and do like a lot of research of what's happening out here. So local restaurant, you know it's good when you see the locals queuing up to try the food. Then over here's the Taiwan National Museum. It's a beautiful structural building, and this is surrounded by a beautiful, massive park over here. But you can see how nice architecture is right here. And I'm just gonna stroll a little portion of the park, because it's pretty massive, and then head back to the street level. But just to show you what's going on over here, there's more action than the other area that I'm staying, you know, so. But so far it's looking nice. Like I said, the weather right now is not looking nice, even though it's sunny and hot the entire day. But let me explore a little portion over here. This is pretty dope and nice. You see, you got the nature and everything. Now I am really in Far East Asia. My first time ever. I've always go in the airport, and here we got like this arc over here. Pretty nice how they maintain the park. There's much more ahead. Not sure if it's like a temple. But we can do, you know, I like how they recreate urbanism with nature at the same time. I'm a huge fan of that. Got a statue right here. So according to Google Maps, this is called 228 Memorial Peace Park. And like I say, so far it's looking pretty nice, beautiful. You know, I like the architecture and the way how they preserve it here. Here's like a nice looking building. I'm not sure if it's surrounded by the lake, but we're gonna check it out. I'll show you guys. Here you see it. Wow, living it out here so far. Taiwan is treating me pretty nice. And people get us chill over there. This is really dope. So yeah, pretty nice area, but I'm already feeling the raindrops, and I literally saw like a couple of locals running around, so it seems like what we're gonna get here within a few minutes. It's like a storm. So now that's gotta cross the street and shelter in one of the ceilings of the buildings over here so it can protect me from the rain. But I think the good thing about this is that it's gonna cool the weather down, so I think that's gonna be super helpful. Now after a while, it really made sense why they have this over here in literally every single street in Taipei. Pretty sure in other cities in Taiwan too. It's mostly because of the weather, you know, the typhoons and stuff. Or they sell Boba tea over here. Oh, they got a lot of cool stuff here, restaurants. But yeah, because of the change of weather, you know, it can get pretty nasty, 0 to 100 really quick. So that's a good way for people to shelter. Oh, they got food here, steaks. So I found a good spot where I could come and have lunch. I think this is an area where a lot of people come, they work and they come here and they have their lunch or their dinner, because I see them really nicely dressed, you know, in suits. But yeah, really cool district that they have going on right here. So you got some of the tiny streets, you know. So there's literally more action over here. This is cool. And you can see all the action that's happening right here. It is busy. So I guess in the other side of the train station is where the people come and hang out. There's actually a Boba tea joint in the other side of the street. Right here, see Coco. I gotta Google where did they created it, which establishment, so I can check it out. Over here, see? Coco Boba tea. And there's a line of people to get boba tea. But it's a big part of the culture out here in Taiwan. And they got food joints over here. Taiwanese vegetable pancake. Oh, that looks nice. What we got here? Oh, nice. It's busy over here. That's cool. Oh, this is a boba tea here. Pretty busy. This is literally like a little mini strip over here with tons of food options, boba tea, whatever you're craving. You got chicken, noodles, rice, a little bit of everything out here. Then ahead of me is the area where the train station is. I tell you, it's getting literally windy, so I think it's time. I think that's a call for me to rush back towards my accommodation before the rain hits me, pretty hard. Gonna start doing that. So, like I said, I'm gonna hit the streets later in the evening and see what it looks like during the nighttime around here. So, freshen up a little bit, but now I'm gonna hit up, I don't know if you say it right, Ximending District or Ximending District, which is actually one of the busiest areas, out here in Taipei. Like I say, in the evening and the nighttime, it's pretty nice too, because they got the neon lights. So we're gonna walk around there, it's pretty walkable. I'm crossing the area. Then once I cross the street, I should be entering this district over here. You see, pretty busy area. So, and over this side, every area that I walk, it has, the roof ceiling that covers the sidewalk. So I think here I don't gotta worry about bringing an umbrella, because if anything, I can always shelter in this ceiling and then cross the street quickly and make it towards my destination. But now let's figure my way where the busy area is and show you what's going on. Ahead of me is getting interesting because it turns pretty much pedestrian. Like I said, I'm pretty sure in the nighttime it's nicer, but I can see the street is closed for the people to walk, so I think we are in for a treat over here to see what's happening. Here begins the pedestrian area. So let's see what's going on over here. Then ahead of me I see all the neon lights. So right now it's super busy, but they got like restaurant joints. What we got here? I know they have a lot of these arcade joints out here too, so this is pretty common in Taipei. And this is nice, drinking, food. So this is mostly like a shopping district, and it keeps going in the other way, but I'm gonna merge into the other side. That would take me where the neon light says. So I decided to get boba tea. Cannot leave Taiwan with boba tea. Cocoa, I'm sure they have this other places, but I see a lot of people making a line over here, so order the taro one. Pretty good. Wow. Tastes different than the ones that I'm used to back home in the States, but this one is actually really good stuff. This is where the action happens. It's like a mixture of pedestrian and a mall, A lot of cool stores, and the people just going by. Love this urbanism right here. But a wonderful vibe. Just taking it in little by little, This is what I visualize when I visualize Far East Asia, Cool places like this. The pedestrian plaza keeps going, even though it's not busy. This is like a massive outdoor mall with restaurants, stores, a little bit of everything. So pretty dope. Just waiting for the light to change. I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna hang out here until it gets dark to see how it changed. And this side here gets busier. I think ahead of me, it's gonna be like an intersection. That's gonna be really nice with the lights and everything. I see also like clothing store. I was trying to find like a t-shirt shop. But pretty interesting to sightsee and look around here. And so far, like I said, I love Taiwan. It's been treating me, pretty nice out here. So, really cool. Here's busier. It's gonna be lit right here ahead of me. So this is where all the people hang out. In this district right here in Taipei. Look at this busy intersection over here. It's so dope. Oh wow, they got pedestrian area over here, so it's like you don't know where to walk. Everywhere is walkable. So apparently this boba tea is pretty famous out here. But no way I'm making a line to get, they pretty much got like many other spots, but this is the famous boba tea that a lot of bloggers come and they queue up and they grab the drink right here behind me. So I love this intersection, it's pretty nice. The lights and everything out here, it's actually pretty dope.
대만을 대표하는 전통의 맛. 대만 햄빵
Yeah, I guess that's a famous boba tea spot that a lot of bloggers come. But then over here is busy, so this is where most of the people they hang out when they come out of Taipei. So, really cool area. Like I said, I'm pretty sure, like I said, in the nighttime, it's probably nicer with all the eclectic lights that's going on over here. And they got the metro station, the green line, that passes right here. This is actually the best area. It literally looks like a mini Times Square in New York, but this is way better in Times Square, you know. Like the real deal, clean, there's no homeless, anything out here, super safe. Then the metro station is right there, the green line, Ximending Station. So a plaza. I think there's also like a food market ahead of me that I'm gonna make it over there in a bit. But yeah, you see this is like the main area that's super busy in Taipei. Like I say, the nighttime is nice because they lit up like all these lights. Ahead of me is a heritage building called the Red House. I guess it's a little bit historic over here, but it's a nice structure of architecture. The building right here, you know, as you can see, pretty nice, pretty dope, and the pedestrian plaza that they got going on over here. Now I'm gonna walk towards another area. There's, I mean, maybe like 10, 15-minute walk from here. Longshan Temple, pretty big temple, but I wanna see like the outside and what it looks like. So then over here, the streets are pretty nice, you know, and more busy than the other side I'm staying. But I even like the side I'm staying, you know, Taiwan is awesome. The lights of the streets, but I'll probably show you guys when I make it towards that area. And this is a temple, and according to what I'm reading, they built it in 1738. Massive area, there's some prayers going on, and they got a fountain, peaceful, nice. Wow, this is peaceful out here. It's a piece of history here. It's crazy how this building was built in the 1700s, you know, to honor the Buddhists out here. So this is an awesome, peaceful structure. And we got another statue over here with waterfalls. Fishes out here. It's cool. Wow. Pretty big ones over there, but this is a really nice structural building we got going on. It was pretty chill, you know, pretty nice area to check out. And I spotted a little local market here within a block, so I'm gonna walk around and see what's going on over there. This is like an outdoor market. I don't think it's really like busy like other markets, but see that the people sell the products and stuff. Of course, you got like street food stalls. I see clothes like in the middle. So like I said, I don't think it's really that massive, but I'm just checking it out. I spotted, so being spontaneous, you know, where I walk. I gotta tell you, you know, even though it's not super humid here, the heat, it can really kick in pretty bad out here, you know. But hey, I don't mind it because I'm enjoying exploring around here, you know, it's pretty awesome. So this, I'm not sure if this is counterfeit stuff that they're selling, but you know, it's a market. So I think for today, this is gonna be it. It's been a pretty nice, successful evening, a lot of exercise, a lot of walking around. I had a blast, you know. Still got 3 more days out here in Taiwan, so gonna figure out what I'm doing next, but there's so much to do out here. But yeah, that was the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more videos. Be safe out there. Everybody, God bless y'all. And peace.